So now we're going to welcome again Maxime and Jérôme for the reports of the two sessions. You're going to start with Roundtable 3? 4.
Four. Yeah, Roundtable okay. 4 on Sport 2.0. Yeah, I feel like I need to stand up. I'm too short. Hi again. So yeah, a very short report on the Roundtable Sport 2.0, a tool at the service of management. We had a very good discussion on how to use digital tools and gamification at the service of well-being and management within companies. We spent a bit of time trying to find a definition to gamification, which was not clear to everyone. We know what it's not. It's not e-sport. We're not talking about FIFA 18 or League of Legends or playing video games online. We're talking about using technologies, using digital tools to help create communities and forums and a good working environment for employees. The second idea that came to mind that struck me was that this corresponds really, this gamification, to a need from the market. It really caters to the market needs, and it also caters to the evolution of sport and the evolution of physical activity. In the last decades, people are more and more interested in individual practices, private practices, less and less enrolling in sport clubs and being a member of a federation. So this kind of playful and game side that applications bring, it really corresponds to the market, and it's not something coming out of the blue. And one important aspect that it brings to the table, and it's very important to our discussion, especially on sedentary lifestyles and fighting against physical inactivity, is that according to some of the speakers, it really helps preach to the unconverted people, those couch potatoes, those people who sit all day, who have very sedentary lifestyles. With those applications, with the smartphones, with the gamification, we have a tool to reach out to them and to propose to offer something different, something more fun, something to win, prizes online, etc. So this is one very important aspect of it. The third idea is that it really helps also management. We learned, at least I learned, that people and companies are more and more interested in the experience that they have within the company rather than the salary level that they get. So they come here for the social experience, the social inclusion, what they get from other people, and not from what they get on the paycheck and from the company every month. So all in all, incentivizing through gamification, proposing an alternative to the good old-fashioned team building activities, doing paintball or laser tag. This is what more and more employees and employers want today. It also comes with a number of barriers. It's always the same barriers. Actually, the first one is money. The second one is protection of personal data, because a lot of those applications involve tracking your movements, even when you're outside of the workplace. If you want to know how to overcome those barriers, you'll have to go talk to some of the speakers of the roundtable. They have some very, very good solution. My time is almost up. So to succeed in using gamification for your companies, two messages that I got: know your audience, adapt your concept, and keep in mind that this is not a magical concept, and that the objective can't be always performance, performance, performance. It has to cater to the needs and the well-being of your employees first, and not your turnover. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for this report, done in 2 minutes.
Thank you, Maxime. So we had also a very interesting session. I hope most of you were not in the session, actually, otherwise you will just hear the same messages again. It was very interesting because for once the title really engaged with actually what we heard. I would say that we learned a lot more about the do's rather than the don'ts, but it's still interesting. I think there are some key concepts that we need to keep in mind. So the first thing that we heard from the participants is that you need to adapt your key message. You need to adapt to your target audience. Who are you talking to? Are you talking to public authorities? Are you talking to active employees or inactive employees? So you always have to customize. The second thing that we heard a lot was that you have to lead by example. You have to engage as well. the leadership of the company should also be involved. It's not just the leadership telling the employees that they need to be active. No, they need to be active themselves as well, take part, and show how it's done. We also heard that one important aspect was to be very inclusive. The idea is not to promote the top athletes of your company or the top talents. We need to engage everyone. We need to engage those who are not active, so we need to make it accessible, and we need to make it fun. And also, you can even go beyond the employees. You have to engage also their families, their friends, and you have to really make it something that is rather a joyful event rather than something only focused on competition. We also heard some other aspects, like the most important one, I would say, and I think everybody agreed around the table. If you try or would like to implement any actions to make your employees healthy and to receive a benefit from it on the long run, you need to be there for the long run. There are no quick solutions. You need to take this seriously. You need to make it fun, but you need to take it seriously. So if it's something you think that you can just organize 1 or 2 events and then everything's fine and everybody will be active, you're wrong. You should really aim for the long run. You should incentivize, so you should find ways, of course, not only competition, but also benefits. We heard things like tracking, Fitbits and things like that you can exchange either for a good cause or for some gifts and presents, and that always helps. We also heard a bridge to the discussion that happened in the other room, that big companies are also looking for solution with startups, because most of these things they outsource actually. So if there are startups around the table, there is a new business developing as well. I would conclude with basically, I think there are a couple of companies that mentioned that they have 3 C's to promote physical activity and well-being in the company. So I will call them the 6 C's, basically. But some of them are creativity, collaboration, confidence, company culture, cohesion, and I think that's 5, but there's one word in there that was written. Culture, thank you very much. So basically that's it. I think that the key outcome of this was that you need to be flexible, you need to adapt, and yeah, if you're a small company, obviously you will have different solutions than a big one, so you need to talk to the right audience. Thank you.
Thank you.